All right, now let's compare both from language understanding. And when I say language understanding, like how they are capable of understanding the context and converting the same into that real prompt into an answer, actually what you're looking for. So let's try a bit, like from this perspective. What I'm just trying to put a few things here, like. Let's see if I just copy and paste this few prompts over here. So you see that, can you generate a short story based on the prompt, a day in the life of an astronaut, right? So now let's see what it is doing. And ChatGPT has started working on that, and in the vast, and it's actually, I asked for the short story, looks like it has created, and you can obviously limit this by words as well, but in the vast expanse of a space where stars are glimmered like distance memories, John Mitchell floated. I mean, this is quite, I mean, it's a wordier basically, which you can see is pretty professionally written. It was just another day in the life of an astronaut, a life of breathtaking beauty, profound isolation, and meticulous routines. I mean, this is little, too much. Let's say if you can you just put this into, let's say, simple English, and of course this can understand the context of what I'm trying to mean here, and this can certainly retranslate this into plain and simple English. So even non-native English guy who are primary language is not English can easily understand this. And don't worry about this prompt chaining. This is an example of prompt chaining which I am giving you here, right? So or multiple prompt, you can also think of that. So what is happening here is, like, it has taken this entire context and rewritten this into the simple English. And here that's what it's saying. In space, there's an astronaut named John Mitchell. He lives in the in a very big space station called the International Space. It looks like it's a pretty simple thing which it has done, and nicely done. When John wakes up, he floats into air, and because there is no gravity in the space, looks like a school guy who's reading this thing. So you can understand from a fifth grade or sixth grade thing. And even this is a prompt, right? You will get to see once we are discussing this open API capabilities. So these things will come into picture. But this is the one thing which we wanted to understand from the language understanding. Now let's understand. Let's say, can you help me? You know. With this piece, like, can you help me draft an email to my team about our project progress? And this is the thing, this is the template which it has basically given. And of course, to draft an email you need to add, so this template you can just take it as is and you retrofit with your content. So that's what, otherwise you just put the content in and ask the chat gpt to create and draft an email in that particular context, and this will certainly do that. And this is doing well from the language understanding. It's like any human is responding to your chat and text, like, and this is what, when I say like human like interpretation and interaction, so this is what it happens, right? And now let's try some other bits here. Let's say, can you explain me the concept of let's say machine learning in simple terms, let's say. And what it says here, it says like, imagine you want to teach a computer to recognize cats in pictures. How would you do that? Instead of giving the computer a long list of rules like cats having pointy ears, cat have fur, you show it lots of pictures of cats and say these are cats. So this is what is data training. This is it's pretty nicely done and pretty nicely written, right? Anyone can understand this thing, right? And this is what it is doing. Like, so the computer looks at the pictures and learns on its own what features are common in all and in those pictures, like flurry bodies and pointy ears. Later on, when you show the computer a new picture of the same variety or the extended variety, or the it can it can quickly get that, and it can return simply cat, otherwise no. In simple terms, machine learning is about training computers to make sense of data and make predictions out of that data. So it's all about data which you can think of, right? So now let's see some other prompts here. Can you translate sentence to French? Hello, how are you? And if you guys from French, you can simply tell that whether it has done nicely or not. And looks like it has done its job. Now it's the BART time, and let's look at its BART understanding from from that perspective, right? Let's create a new chat here from here. And now let's try something, and as you can see on the left hand side, your chats are getting saved. And likewise here, since I have collapsed here, and you can simply use this button to close sidebar. Likewise, you can simply come here and close this using this. And now let's use this. Can you summarize latest news article on climate change? Because I'm sitting on the pile of data which is on the real time, so that's why I'm putting like this prompt for this, and I'm just judging that its language capability to understand that, and how quick it is to give you that answers. Like, so this is what. So the first distinction between chat gpt and the bard is, bard does certain thinking wherein a spinner gets going, wherein chat gpt starts writing promptly and it underneath thinks and produces the content. So here is a summary of the latest news article about about climate change, which you can see that G20 countries commit to accelerate coal power reduction and triple renewable energy capacity by 2030. And G20 countries, which count around 80% of global greenhouse gas emissions, and this is what it has said. And let's ask another question here, the follow-up question on top of this. Is there anything, can you bring from the latest concluded G20 summit from India perspective, in this context, in climate change context, right? So I'm just putting like this, and let's see whether it anything it fetches. It's just I'm throwing it this question just to test this, like whether it's actually picking up that article from latest or not, right? So first, India's G20 presidency objective was a significant opportunity to highlight the importance of climate action for developing countries. India has been a vocal advocate for developed countries to provide financial and technical assistance to developing countries and low carbon economy, and looks like it has done nicely. And third, India made a number of specific commitments to the climate action, and this is what it is saying. So this is nice actually, from language understanding and from the general knowledge which is happening on the daily basis as well, like the news and the real-time activity which is happening around you. So it's doing a very neat job, right? So hats off, right? So on point it has done. And now let's try some other prompts. Let's and of course, as I mentioned, like you can see other drafts as well, and these are the drafts which you can obviously switch to that in case if you are not liking the first one, and you can also have the flexibility of getting the third one. Otherwise you can obviously go ahead and regenerate that one, right? So this is, that being said, let's try some other prompt. And what I'm going to have is, like, let's say, like, can you provide information about current COVID-19 situation in my area? And let's see, is there any COVID-19 situation, because we are in 23 and I don't see any COVID-19 kind of situation which still exists. But let's see, as of September 17, 2023, and this is as you can see here, this is the latest as of 17/17/23. Government of Karnataka, there are 6 active COVID-19 cases and in Bangalore urban district, and this is what, and this is nice actually, because this is actually crawling the web. This is what I wanted to understand, like, and I wanted to show you guys also. This is the real-time activity, which is that's why I have not searched this into chat gpt, because I know what is going to happen. And if you just put this thread here, let's say, can you provide current information about COVID-19 in my current area? I mean, so what will happen, like it will put the disclaimer up front first of all. So let it come, and it's getting generated in the meantime. Look, so I'm unable to provide the real-time information because that in your area, because my knowledge only goes up to September 21. So this is the disclaimer which ChatGPT is putting up front. But even then, ChatGPT is doing pretty well, because on the pile of data which it has trained with till September 21, it is doing nice job in curating that and making out of sense of that, right? Now let's try some other factors from bad, like let's try some kind of translation we can do here, like a common English sentence to Japanese, and let's see what it says. Good morning, have a nice day. And let's see the three variations which can be graded. I think this is alien to me. I barely understand these scriptures, but in case if any of them my Japanese fellows who are looking at, they can make sense out of that, and they can really understand like what I'm trying to mean here, like out of these three. And for the simple line, three versions has been created, and this is really, I mean, this is little overwhelming for me, and in which case many a Japanese fellow can just comment on that, like please comment on the discussion thread whether this was which was generated is correct or not, and up to your expectation or not. So that's what you can also say. And let's try some general knowledge question, like it's not general knowledge, it's basically a factual question which I wanted to understand between classic and quantum computing, right? So this days, like quantum computing is taking, this is getting a buzzword, right? So and there is a lot of happening, right? So this is what it is saying. So it says like classical computing is based on the binary systems, which means 0 and 1s, and which means that all information is represented by bits. And classical computers use transistors to perform operations on bits, right? And quantum computing is based on the principle of quantum mechanics, which is branch of physics that describe the behavior of matter at the atomic and subatomic level. Okay, and quantum computers use qubits. So this is another terms which is qubits, and here it use bits and here it use qubits to represent information. So qubits can be in a superposition of states, which mean that they can be 0, 1 or both at same time. I mean, this is really nice, right? How can be both at the same time? And that's what quantum means actually. And this ability to be in a superposition of a state is what gives quantum computers their power, right? So, and I'm yet to read about this quantum computing in its more advanced level, but in looks like it has making sense. And you see, this artificial intelligence also needs quantum computers, because it needs intelligent algorithms that are more powerful and efficient for current algorithms, right? So this is where it is needed, right? So, and that's what I'm trying to emphasize here, right? So this is fundamentally you are going to need these things in future as AI develops more faster, and you need more computational power. So again, these three drafts are there. So from the language understanding perspective, both are factually done correct, and this is pretty nice to see that actually that both the tools are doing pretty well in their own areas.